Gemini, this is your July 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading. We're going to give you some key astrological dates and some intuitive messages that I hope are going to resonate and inspire you, help you feel more supported as you move through the next few weeks. So we're opening up into Cancer season in that second house with the energy of the King of Wands. This month in second house energy for you, it's really about the way in which you are attaching meaning to things in your world. And what we're really recognizing, and you have some real fire and passion directed towards this with the King of Wands emerging, is that it's not just about temporary change anymore. You know, it's not temporary change to the circumstances in your life. It's about the bravery that's needed to make permanent shifts and changes in your attitude and behavior. And when you come to that place of acknowledgement, the bravery, the willingness to be bold is the very thing that starts to open doors for you in a more profound way than you've ever seen before. Now, this is a month of growing pains, I feel. We are going deeper than we've ever gone before. There are more tests, if you like, lessons that we're trying to learn, ways in which we're trying to acclimate to this new version of self, to understand the ways in which we're supposed to be working with these upgrades in terms of energy. Everything aches before it expands. And during this time of retrograde, with so many planets now moving backwards, it's a time for us to truly get up close and personal with the ways in which we have changed and how we've allowed ourselves time to experience, to absorb, to act, and to live all of the things that we now know to be true. So the King of Wands suggests that we need to be fearless, we need to trust in our instincts this month, that we can absolutely draw from our personal experiences in terms of those instances where we've got it right, and even where we haven't, that what was gained from that is still helped to shape and to form this complete wholeness that exists within us. Now we're going to open up July with 10 square between Mars and Pluto. It's a little volatile and it's conflicted, which means that we might be carrying some baggage in at the beginning of the month. And as we move through July, there's a sense of really being able to work to process and to clear and to heal, so that as we emerge, and on the 31st we have a really auspicious sun trining with Jupiter, giving us that positive expansion, there is a sense of like lessons truly learned. So the Knight of Cups comes in, and there is in some ways like a real sacred descent that we're going in July, and it means that we sometimes have to go further into the energies of what feels stuck, what feels resistant, what feels heavy. We have to acknowledge those things so that we can find a way to forgive, to release, and then fall back in love with ourselves, fall back in love with our life, fall back in love with the people in it. Because the thing is, love, success, abundance, peace, well-being, all of the things that you want, that all of us want and desire right now, they're all generative. It's not just about us having like the positive thoughts about them. It's about us getting really messy in the dirt with it. And here she strums her heart. It's raw, it's open, it's vulnerable. It's like we have to create these things. We have to bring life and shape and form to them. This stops the avoidant behavior where we just keep our fingers crossed and say, well, I'm thinking happy thoughts, everything will be okay. So it's much more immersive this month as we really consider our sense of value and worth, which is being super triggered in Cancer season. Now, what's adding to that? Well, we have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn coming in on the 13th, and it's square to Chiron, the wounded healer. That means a lot of the wounds and the triggers that we need to acknowledge, Remember, Chiron in Aries is 11th house for you, so it's in groups and friendships and the way in which we show up in the community. So this is feeling under pressure in terms of the things that we have to heal and let go of. Now, that full moon in Capricorn is a safe pair of hands. It's giving a sense of structure and stability to be able to deal with these challenging dialogues that we're having with ourselves. We also have a trine with Uranus and a sextile to Neptune and the asteroid goddess Juno coming in at that full moon in Capricorn. Now you have 7 of Cups here. There are choices, but there's a sense of overwhelm going on here. But you know what? She is clearly pointing out this one bright star. She's like, do you know what? In amongst all of the things that are going on right now, I am still clear about what I want, even in the void, even in the vacantness, even in this descent into where I feel stuck. There's still something deep within me, because the instinct is telling me, the way that I'm connected deeply into my heart space, I know the right way forward for me. So in acknowledging that, there's something during that full moon that we have to be super honest and direct and vulnerable with, not just ourselves, but perhaps others as well. This is not working for me, or I need more, or here's where I'm at in this situation. It's being able to call things out and have those really difficult conversations that you are going to recognize and witness the biggest breakthroughs. You know, to have that unbridled life, to have that freedom, we have to start acting as if we were free, which means that we need to let go of everything that feels like it's restraining or restricting or holding us back in any way. So this month is messy in some instances, but at the same time, the magic is also in the mess. And these growing pains have really divine purpose for you. Now we have Pallas Athena, the asteroid goddess, coming into your sign, Gemini, on the 4th of the month. So here, her wisdom, her divine power, her ability to help us to strategize is being imbued with all of the qualities that you bring to the table. So we're balancing out intuition and logic, and we're feeling capable under her stewardship here. There's a creative intelligence that's being brought to bear, and you're showing me here with the Queen of Pentacles that you're going to use that wisely. Now, the thing with the Queen of Pentacles is she knows when it's time to work, and she also knows when it's time to rest. Yeah, she understands what like a hard day's work looks like. It's like, I've done enough. I don't need to keep meddling in the process. You don't need to carry the weight of the world this month, Gemini. Sometimes you need to let things be so that it can find the energy, can find its own natural path to rebalance. So where is this true for you coming up in relationships, in your work life, in your home life? You can be so busy and distracting yourself in that busyness that you're not hearing the true voice that you need to. So what we're saying is turn off absolutely everything that has an off switch for a period this month and listen to the voice that's left, the voice that is still talking, that is your true inner light, inner voice, and what is that having to say to you? Now, there's a lot of people showing up so far in the reading. Fire, water, earth. I quite like this because it's helping to balance you out in some regards. So what I'm going to say to you is that there are people showing up for you in July that all have something to teach you about perhaps qualities that you are learning how to bring in to make yourself feel in more of a balanced state. So we can learn from these elementals in really beautiful ways. How do we protect and nurture that inner light and passion? How do we allow ourselves to go with the flow with that water energy, or to be more emotionally intimate with ourselves, to ask the hard questions? How do we allow ourselves to have the dedication, the practicality to get things done and to stay the course? So you're being afforded like these beautiful gifts by way of some of the people that are showing up and the way that their behavior is being expressed, and maybe things that they're doing in their own life or things that are influencing you. But I feel like you can kind of read the room and sort of draw from that and really say, okay, maybe that's something that I can start to play with myself. I can use that in part of this generative experience, this creative canvas that I'm building for this new picture of my life, because rest assured, you are in the process of completely reimagining your life in some way. Now this month, it feels to me that there's going to be new additions coming in. Sometimes we feel like we're constantly having to create space, like we're at full capacity, like literally I cannot receive any more right now. There's too much going on, and yet we forget that sometimes we expand to be able to hold space for the new addition. It's like I have this beautiful 14-year-old golden retriever, right? And I thought, there's no way I'm going to get another dog. I can love her as much as my 14-year-old. And then I get the puppy and I love her just as much. Like my love expands to be able to hold space for both. It's like, that's what happens to us. So there's something about new additions that are coming into your life this month in some capacity or another. And through that, you are basically able to still have balance. Now, yes, there's going to be a requirement to definitely release around that full moon, but what we want to be releasing is the wounds. Because with Chiron shifting retrograde this month, it's a revisitation to, have I really dealt with that? Have I tended to that? That's that sacred descent that we're talking about. Because if all of this expansion is happening around you, which it is, if this capable energy is emerging from you, look at this King and Queen of Pentacles, a formidable partnership happening, a union. Now, yes, for some of you, it may be within a specific relationship, professionally, work-wise perhaps, that could really bring about some powerful abundance as we look to that theme with Cancer and the Capricorn full moon of safety, security, our money story, and especially in second house for you, right? You're really addressing your money income, your possessions, your material resources, how you're making them work for you. But we also have this element of you balancing things out within the self and coming to this place of, spiritual maturity, emotional maturity, energetic maturity, that is really allowing a new sense of abundance to come in with a sure foundation for you. And remember, right, it's the growing pains. Remember that things can get very messy and chaotic before they come into a place of feeling like it's the right order. So if you feel like you're in the void, Gemini, it is preceding a major catalytic time. You have to be brave, because this part of the journey, this part of the process, this vacant, checked out, void, stuck, wherever it is that you feel that is far away from what we're talking about here, is just as an essential part of the ingredient for the becoming that is underway right now. So do not discard it. And perhaps the void is about the rest. Yeah, and the rest is where we get to allow things to settle, and then decisions can become clearer, and we can actually get a real read on how we feel about things, choices that we've made or things that have been asked of us, or where we see things likely to move or to unfold or expand. So we've got Venus shifting into Cancer on the 17th, and of course the Venusian energy again, ruling that second house is going to call us out, want us to feel all the feels. So in terms of our money story, in terms of how we're showing up in love relationships, the give and take, the reciprocity, Ace of Swords says, let's be upfront honest. There's no other way. You have the key here to unlock something deep within your consciousness, deep within your wisdom. You have the ability to start to connect to energy that's new, coursing through you. You've never felt it before in this physical lifetime. How are you going to use it? There is a sense of kind of intentionality, I feel, as we point towards that star and we see the key here, holding it kind of strongly in your hand. So I know that what's coming up for you this month is this desire to want to create this security around you. Yeah, in the love relationships that you're invested in the way you're taking care of your health and well-being, in the family and the children that are around you, in the friendships that you have, in the way that you're forging, things in your career or your work life. This sort of feeling that's bubbling up, and it's contrasting, right, is what I'm picking up, because then we have this like deeper, soulful, tender, kind of quite painful at times experience of navigating that descent and purging and realizing what all of the signposts have been about to kind of acknowledge things or face things. But we can't, it's a mutable energy, Gemini, right? You can do multiple things at one time. This is one of the gifts that you have. So this is a month that's going to deliver on many, many fronts, and it's possibly going to be an experience where it feels like nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden, wow, everything happened all at once, like in a day, in a minute, in a moment. So we have to kind of be open to that. And I think there's a test around your dreams here, with that Seven of Cups. You know, there's a test around what the vision quest is, Knight of Cups. How much are you prepared to jump through the hoops? How determined and committed and loyal and devoted are you? How strong is your passion? How much do you want this? Because if you do, it's about dropping the timeline around it. Like we said, it's not about temporary changes you're trying to make, because that's coming and fueling from a place of fear. I don't want to be in this place anymore. I want to have more money. I want to have, better relationships. I want to be here. I want this to happen. All of that coming from the things that you do not want. But when you're so secure and set on that vision or the things that you really desire, there's something else that pulls you forward. It comes from somewhere much, much deeper, and you're getting like a front row seat into kind of what that true energy feels like. And that's going to be wonderful, because as that wave sort of rises up within you, you can catch it, but then you always know how to return to it. Yeah, it's like you become aware of where the best surf spot is, right? It's just like, those waves are going to be there. So yes, can we maintain and hold that energy at all times? No, we can. We're here to have a full human experience and have all of those emotional energies course through our veins. But when we know this is where I can get to, this is what's possible for me, then that's the thing that's going to keep propelling you forward towards those dreams. And that's what's going to truly start to nourish and satisfy your soul and help to plug into those parts of yourself that have felt undernourished, undervalued, or just craving or yearning or grasping for something. So there's a big shift and change coming in around that. So we are going to welcome Vesta, asteroid goddess, shifting retrograde in Pisces on the 7th. And remember, she's about what we devote to. The Knight of Wands suggests to me that there's something that you're trying to push out or that you need to get moving towards, and yet there is this feeling of sort of inertia and stuckness, and kind of there's where that void comes through, Four of Cups. But Vesta in Pisces retrograde is about boundaries, it's about talking to ourselves about what are we doing to sort of keep that inner flame burning brightly, regardless of whether the sun is shining on us or the rain cloud passes overhead. So you're kind of shaping and carving and crafting, like for me, a stronger foundation of self. And again, it's sort of one of these experiences where you could look at that Four of Cups and you could say, well, actually, I feel a little bit ambivalent and therefore there's no progress. But in actual fact, it's where all the progress is taking place, because this is when we're saying if you stop carrying the weight of the world and you let it be, there's a time lapse taking place for that natural path to rebalance itself. So you may have a big burst of energy with regards to something and then absolutely require that time where you just kind of check out. Because then if you're trying to be too invested and control all of the parts of it, then that can get really tiresome and it puts you out of balance. The Four of Cups is also saying that, yes, there's choices. You could do many things. Seven of Cups as well. It's often for me like that message of there's a lot of shiny objects coming in. It's not really depicted with this particular card, so it might not be as strong a message in this read for you in July, but I think it is still emphasized with the 7 there that says, there is a lot of things that you could do. We're not saying that. It's not in dispute. There are a lot of people you could connect with. There's choice here for sure in July. But what does your soul really want? What are the things that you really want for yourself? And if you don't know, if you feel in that place where you're like confused or uncertain, then again, July is a time when turning everything off and just kind of checking out is giving you that chance to kind of really sink into yourself and start to consider that. Because there's something permanent that's changing. And we want you to not be so busy looking up to the top of the mountain that you can't see all of the beautiful flowers at your feet right now. So this is why we're saying it is time to experience, absorb, act, and live all of the things that you now know to be true about yourself. Now, because we have a lot of people showing up in your reading this month, Knight of Wands as well, strong fire energy here and earth energy, we have to remember, people come to you for a variety of reasons. There are people who will unconditionally show up and accept you for everything that you are. There are people who might not resonate with you or align with you, but still seem to be in your energy and your pathway. There will be people who just like what it is that you do for them. So there's conflict and challenge that also emerges in some of the connections and relationships that you're working through in July. And it's important, Gemini, because you're getting a stronger read on yourself, on your boundaries, on the type of people that you want to connect to, who you want to invest time with. And, the contrast of that Five of Wands also suggests that, there's a lot of kind of political moves here, agendas, but I think a lot of that is coming to light for you as we move into Leo season and third house energy. Remember, there's that requirement to challenge the way that we think and the language that we are using. So I think you're going to have an awful lot of opportunity, shall we say, with some of the people in your life through July to show you, yourself and them, the ways in which you've changed, what you're going to tolerate, what your new standard is, what you're okay with, where you want to prioritize and make time for certain things, the topics that are, going to be supportive and that you have plenty to say. So all of this is kind of coming up for review here. This is a really strong, powerful energy that's flowing in through this month of July. What I'm being given by the guides is the way that you decide to direct it is going to directly impact your experience of it. So if we're not careful, it could feel really overwhelming and we could plunge ourselves back into our safety zone, our comfort zone, which will be different for everyone. Maybe it'll just be like you'll just people please and you'll take it all on and you'll say yes to everybody. Maybe you'll disappear into your hermit and kind of shut the world out. But there's a balance to be struck here, because if we're trying to make a permanent change in behavior and what we've been learning and we're going through these growing pains, then you have the opportunity to make some really, really meaningful shifts in your energy, and they're going to directly impact on the relationships that are coming through for you. That's the truth, the clarity of the Ace of Swords. Now, she comes through a bit with fractious energy. I always say that with Ace of Swords. It's a little uncomfortable and uneasy because sometimes we have to say things that, or present an energy that isn't necessarily feeling true to our essence. Five of Wands suggests that it's going to be required because we have to cut through the bickering or the argument or the kind of tenseness or the energy and the air at some point, because you don't have time for it. You don't have time to waste. There are things that need to be done, that want to be achieved. There's parts of you that have gotten very clear about what's important to you. Now, Juno's going to go retrograde in Pisces on the 25th. Now, she comes in supportively with that full moon in Capricorn. When she goes retrograde, remember, she is in charge of marriages, contracts, partnerships. And just a reminder, you can get your own personal goddess report looking at your natal chart and how 12 of the goddess energies impact you. The link for that is in the description box underneath. But Juno retrograde in Pisces says, what am I sacrificing in this connection? I'm dealing with themes of Pisces, which is about your artistry, your spiritual journey, your creativity. It's also about the shadow aspects, so illusions, addiction. It's about how romance is present in your life, not just from a love perspective with another individual, but also how you romance yourself, how you love what you love, how you love what you do. All of these things coming through. And we may need to have lots of little course corrects, because third house wants us to make lots of decisions about short-term strategy things at the same time as keeping an eye on the future vision. King of Wands is definitely the visionary, so that's coming out in the start of your reading, and you have this vision quest that's coming in. You know where you're going. You're capable here of making this or drawing this in from a manifesting perspective. But again, so we don't get lost away top of the mountain when we should be down here enjoying something about the here and now. I think you're really helping people to understand how to relate to you, and that's going to have a direct impact on some of your relationships this month as well. So as we come into the new moon in Leo on the 28th of the month, same day that Jupiter goes retrograde in Aries, you have some strong words to announce, I feel, that are connected to where it is you feel you're going. Look at that, no rain today, beautiful. Well, we have the Four of Cups that suggests there's an umbrella here, but like I said, you still determine. You can look outside and the weather can be awful, and you can still say to yourself, the sun always shines on me. Like light always bathes me, light follows me. And actually, she has the rain clouds here. So this is just the embracing of all parts of yourself, but at the same time not being defined by anything that is going to keep you in that place of stuckness or resistance or negativity. So where do you need to give yourself permission to say, today I choose to be on the upside of everything. You have every right to feel confident and secure about some of the choices and decisions that you're making in July. That's what we want to give you from this. You have to feel brave. You also have to know that not everything changes at once. So there's a acceptance on your part that you're going to continue to be tested. But once you just get really clear with yourself, okay, this is what I choose for myself, then we can start to just almost relax and go, okay, now I'm really clear. So everything that I'm doing is going to be coming into effect to help me to get there, whether it's a test or whether it's a detour or whether it's not what I expected it to be. If we could just have the vision without the expectation, then we'd be on to a winner. So maybe that's part of the work, yeah? Let's have a look at your astrology card, Gemini. 10th house. Structure, discipline, life, mission, accomplishments and career. Where of course Capricorn rules the 10th house naturally. We've got the owl coming in here, linking in with Pallas Athena, I think, who's in your sign as well. But certainly this sense of feeling committed, determined and capable, emerging more victoriously for you. And as we said, if it's not where you're at and you feel like you're in the void, this is all of the energy that sits behind the cloud. The sun is right there for you. But it's about your legacy, the way you're showing up in the world. And it's about your beautiful divine energy signature, recognizing your uniqueness so that as you come into the connections and you have those important, hard, difficult, vulnerable conversations with yourself and others to allow the healing to take place, to go deeper than you ever have before, that's when you discover the gold. So it's a really formative, turning point this month. Your reactions, Gemini, in July will tell you absolutely everything you need to know about where you're being guided to do the work. Reminding ourselves that with Cancer season and Chiron, there's going to be moments of irritability and moodiness and tenderness and passive aggressive. That's just par for the course a little bit in July. But again, all of that giving us informed choices about how we find our flow, how we become more intimate with what we're truly needing in that moment, how we protect ourselves, and how we feel more safe and secure by inner parenting and really nourishing and cherishing everything that we are. Now, your final oracle card is a little preview of my Life Soul Vision oracle coming out at the end of July. I know I've been showing it the last couple of months. Thank you so much if you've pre-ordered. If you haven't checked it out, please do go and see the full deck preview on the website or any of my socials. I can't wait to start using it with you. This is Blossoming Soul Song, and thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to just now invite you to think about a personal question that might not have come up in the main reading, Gemini. I'm going to go and pull a couple of cards for you now with that. You can discover what these cards are in the extended reading, which you will find the link for in the comments section and the description box underneath. And it's a way to support my channel and the work so I can keep showing up to do the free readings. So if it resonates, I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much. So let's start with the King of Wands. And we have another Seven of Cups coming in. Such a lot of choice coming your way. Seven of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Five of Wands coming through again here. Justice. Judgment. Wow. Let's put one more there. Interesting. Ace of Cups. Beautiful. Okay, Queen of Pentacles coming in with the Knight of Wands again. Four of Cups again. Nine of Swords. Nine of Cups. The Sun, lovely. Seven of Wands. Tower. Six of Wands. Okay. We have the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Cups. Five of Pentacles and the Page coming through there. Let's put one more there. And the King. Another Knight of Cups coming up here. Three of Pentacles. There's that beautiful generative energy we were talking about. Hierophant. We heal and then we teach, Gemini. No rain today, says the Magician. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much if you're joining me for the extended. I look forward to continuing this conversation. Otherwise, have a beautiful month of July. I will see you next time.